Hello.
Episode 8.
8, yeah. Wow.
We're 8 deep.
I know.
How do you feel?
Crackers, really.
I feel like we've done 1,000.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on the way you look at it. Are you an optimist or not?
We've done really well, I think.
Yeah.
We're nearly at the 10. I feel like 10's a big number.
Are we going to, have a little party or something? When we get to
we
10?
should when we
I
have
reckon,
10. Yeah, we
definitely.
should.
We also need more followers and subscribers.
Yeah, please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
James, I've got, right, I've realised I can't ask you questions about money because
There's
within
nothing
2
I
questions...
won't do. Anything you want me to.
I've realised there's nothing
There's no limit.
I can ask you. There's no limit for money.
No.
So I'm going to ask you philosophical questions now, right?
Christ.
I'm going to start simple.
Yeah.
It's a would you rather question. It's an interesting one.
Oh.
Would you rather have all your thoughts
Yeah.
appearing above your head in
Absolutely
like a
not.
speech
For everyone to
bubble
see.
for everyone to see?
No.
Or have everything you do live streamed constant. So all your thoughts available
Like
always.
the Truman Show for the constant stream thing, like that kind of thing.
Not a moment's privacy afforded to you.
I don't feel like I leave much to the imagination as is, to be fair. So, I feel like...
That's a hard one, isn't
No.
it?
So on a TV programme, like, everyone could switch to Channel J.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing for
You
that.
would be buzzing for that, actually,
Yeah, I
wouldn't
would.
you?
Am I allowed to...
Censor some parts.
No, I'm not bothered.
You don't want to do that.
I'm not bothered for that. What I'm saying is, am I allowed to bask in my fame? I meet people. Am I getting paid well for it? Or...
I mean, yeah. I'm assuming, there's no caveat there.
Absolutely
you can do what you want.
incredible.
If people are going to want to know you, James, after seeing, maybe they're not going to be
are
interested in
you
what you're
taking
getting
the
up to.
piss? 2 days in, 2 episodes, you'll be like, I'm watching more.
Give me more.
Yeah, me sat on my sofa eating crackers is the majority of what you'd probably see. Or talking to Brody saying, why don't you love me, you know?
Oh, Brody, for
Yeah.
God's
I
sake.
know, Brody
Probably
would
be a
talk.
Brody cam.
Yeah, do you know what? People are switching for him, probably.
And his funny sleeping positions.
Yeah.
So that's your answer.
Yeah, I think the thought process thing terrifies me because even I get scared sometimes. I'll just be sat there in a daze and think, that's shocking. I could get arrested
I do
for that.
as well, sometimes.
I do. Or if people are talking, for instance, I went through something similar today and I just cannot.
You think you'd end up with no friends?
Not only that, I would be in prison.
Would you?
Yeah. Because do you ever
Thoughts?
just zone out and think, what would happen if I did just stab that person in the neck?
Always.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't have said always. I don't mean that. No. But let me tell you something. Oh my God, I was watching. Have you ever seen the bloody... This is going a bit off-piste. It's not a documentary. The film about the Zodiac with Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr.
It's on
and Jake
Netflix
Gyllenhaal.
now. I watched it the other night.
Me fucking too. I've seen it before and it's scary as hell.
I turned it off. Boring.
No, it ain't boring. It's good.
No,
People should watch it. But there's a bit where he's stabbing a girl, and I thought that looks
Horrendous. This when they're on the
horrendous,
top
but
of the
it
mountain,
made
the
me
top of
feel
the
like
cliff.
I wanted to know what it felt like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you ever like stab through? Oh, this is getting deep.
I do stab stuff.
Yeah, I do.
What?
I
Yeah.
stab. You know what I stabbed, and it felt unreal.
Yeah.
A bag of compost.
Yeah, I can imagine it would have. I
To open it
would.
up.
I'd do that.
Yeah, everyone was waiting with bated breath then to see what you'd
A
say.
bag of compost whilst you were doing your gardening.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that felt beautiful. To
But
me.
just while we're on that, I've got some knives, right? Sharp as you like. I cut the top of my thumb off, if you remember. And when I take them out of the thing, it goes like it does in the horror movies.
Yeah.
That lovely noise of that shing, that.
Yeah.
And I buzz for it. I love it. I really
and
do
out, in
like
and out.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I just
nice.
think, what a wonderful noise. That's because I've grown up on movies like Scream and stuff. But
Do you know what's an equivalent feeling? Maybe I'm going kind of way too off-piste here. But have you ever, and I don't do this on purpose because it's cruel, but have you ever accidentally stood on a slug?
I don't like that. But yes, I have.
And I feel like that sort of squelch
Yeah.
feeling, that give,
Yeah.
is how it would feel to stab someone.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Never
I
have put
can't-
those two together. In all honesty,
When I've once stood on a slug in bare feet
it's minging.
when you're
innit?
hanging washing
Ugh.
out. Oh, what a shocking experience.
It's like it's a rule of being in Britain. You will stand on the slug. It's like if you had if you had a contract of somebody's moving here and they're like, right, page 7, clause 22, you will stand on a slug at
In your bare
least
feet.
once a month. Are you okay
That
to
is
proceed
so
with moving to this
true.
country?
Disgusting.
So yeah, I wouldn't live stream my thoughts because have the bubble in my thoughts because it'd get me in all kinds of
Dangerous.
trouble. Yeah. Whereas I would definitely live stream myself. I would,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to do either of them two.
Well,
No, that
what's
defines the
your option
world.
then? Ty.
I'd have the thoughts because there wouldn't be much going on.
Oh, pet.
Simon,
And you're very
no.
kind.
Yeah.
You are kind.
Oh,
Unless you ever think out bad about me and then...
but you'd be able to see it, so you would
I'd
be
be
stabbing.
fuming.
There'd be stabbage.
Just a wanker above.
Oh, bloody hell, Simon. All right. So, we're going to get into it today, I believe, James.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm gonna be honest.
Next
When I was
level.
researching what I'm gonna talk about, I had a cry.
Oh, fuck
There's
yeah.
numerous factors in it. It's a very sad tale.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've brought depression
can't
to our
wait.
listeners, and you're clearly
But
excited.
an interesting
But it's
one.
so fascinating because there's so many different things that are adding up here.
Okay.
So what I want to talk about is, and it's very complex, so we'll have to dip in and out, and I will ask obviously your thoughts and stuff as we go, but it is quite complex.
Right.
And it's the tragic tale of the 5 children that went missing from their own house on Christmas Eve.
Fucking hell.
So let's set the scene.
What they called? The Sodder family.
The Sodder family, yeah. So
Right.
in Fayetteville,
Fayetteville, I think.
right, in West Virginia, the year's 1945. It's a
Right.
cold Christmas morning.
Evocative.
Christmas Eve, to be exact.
Yeah.
The older sister goes out, she buys some presents for the children. Quite a middle-class family, they're not poor by any stretch of the imagination. Quite a
Right.
nice house.
Right.
No enemies, or so we didn't think.
Right.
Now
No
this-
enemies.
I know, like, do I have enemies? Like, who knows? But there's 10 children. Mum and Dad have been busy.
Busy.
Quite happy. Quite a happy little family with themselves. You know, quite a nice age as children from
You
like,
won't look twice at them.
not a chance.
kind of thing.
No way. No, very unassuming, very nice. So it's Christmas Eve, and the youngest children and a couple of the teenagers are staying up, and the sister's giving them the presents, and the mom's agreed, okay, you can stay up past 12 because guess what, it's Christmas
Yeah.
and whatever. The mom goes to bed, the dad's in bed, and some of the other kids go to bed as well. So
Right.
there's 5 kids up.
Some are up, some are in bed.
Some are up, some are in bed.
Right.
10 kids. One of them, there's 9 children in the house. One of them's gone off, he's quite older. He's gone off in army. So there's
Right.
so there's 9 children.
Okay.
So she gets a phone call, the mom, startles her awake at 12:30 a.m. So she's like, okay. So she goes downstairs, she notices that the lights are on. The oldest daughter's asleep on the sofa, crashed. She can't see any other kids, and she's like, they've gone to bed, obviously.
God, keeping track of 10 kids.
Do you know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
as well, would you think, I ain't got the energy for that?
Big time.
Yeah. So she asked them to do some chores before they went to bed. She noticed none
Christmas
of them had
Eve,
done, but
hon.
she's like,
Yeah.
it's Christmas
Okay,
Eve.
fair
I'll
enough.
scold them on Boxing Day. So the phone's ringing. She goes to answer it. She's like, hello. And this woman says, a female voice asks for a woman she doesn't know, but she's laughing. And they can hear chink, chink, cheers glasses in the background. She's thinking someone's having a party Christmas Eve. She's like, you've got the wrong number, puts the phone down and goes off to bed. Then at about 1 a.m, she hears like a thud on the roof and then a rolling. So something's hit the roof and then it's rolling
Father
down.
Christmas.
So she's like, not quite as heavy as that, but she's like, what's that? Don't know, startled her awake. So then at 1:30 a.m, she does wake up. There's smoke everywhere. She's like, what the chuck?
Within an hour.
Yes. So she wakes the dad up. He gets quite a lot of the kids, in a nutshell, gets the kids that remain in the house that they knew were in bed out.
Right.
So then all this is going on, they can't find the 5 kids. So they're like, what's occurring? Where are these kids? Are they upstairs? And it's a bad state of affairs.
Right.
Now, it only took 45 minutes for the entire house to burn down.
Down
right?
to the ground.
To the bare
Oh, did
charcoal
it?
minimum, yeah.
Fucking hell, right.
So the dad's
I
got
didn't
out
know
at
that.
this point and he goes to get the ladder to break the window to get into the children's bedroom. The ladder's always in the same place. It's always been for years and years. It hasn't
Fucking
moved.
swat.
It's no longer
Not
there.
Oh, no.
Right? So that's weird. So he runs to his truck because he thinks, I'll drive my truck up to the house and I'll climb in like through on the
Yeah,
truck.
no.
The truck won't start. It's got no power whatsoever to it. Even though he'd been riding around in it endlessly the day before.
Yeah.
That was weird. Anyway, long story short, they don't find these kids, and it takes 8 hours for the fire engine to arrive.
What?
So let me tell you for why. It's 1945, like I say, right? They didn't really have a lot of emergency repair services. The nearest one's miles away, but they set up
middle of
like
nowhere, these guys?
it's like very rural. But they set up like a phone tree for emergency service where one rings the other. So whatever town you're in, all the emergency services will ring through and get you somebody fast
Before 8 hours?
Exactly. So that's in itself bizarre.
Bad. Yeah, weird.
So then when the police come and all said and done, everyone's extremely depressed. They've got 5 kids missing, nowhere to be found. They've sieved through these remains really bad.
Yeah.
They can't find any. There's
No bodies?
No. Apart from the children they know have perished, which were... apart from a vertebrae, which they don't know who it's come from. They reckon it could be 23 years old. They don't have a kid that's 23. It's weird as fuck. So all this has gone on. They start to think these kids were in the house. People start coming forward saying, I saw a man sat in a car looking at your house. Now, this is where the plot thickens the most.
Right.
So the mom, being a bonnet, I really respect this woman actually.
Right.
This is what made me cry about her.
Aww.
She's worn black like Queen Victoria every day since this happened.
You would.
Never stopped looking. Never.
No. Can I just ask, sorry,
Yeah.
so how many kids are gone? 5?
4 survived, 5 are missing.
Right.
One's in army.
And how old are the kids that have gone?
Well, it ranges
Are they
really.
young?
So there's Maurice, who's 14, Martha, who was 12, Lewis were 9, Jenny was 8, and Betty were 5.
Right, okay. Right.
So this is where the plot thickens. People are saying, I saw a mysterious man in the car, like they do, don't they? Like people are coming forwards. But a few weeks before, a salesman knocked on the door selling life insurance.
Okay, never a good sign in them days.
And the dad were like, no. And he went, but you've got a big family. And he was like, not interested. I don't believe in it, blah, blah, blah. And he went, okay. And you're all going to die, though. And they were like, that's weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
So the salesman went off on his way. But then a man came round and said, I'm just looking for work, whatever. Like he was like an odd job man or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, well, this is my house, but I don't really have it for you. And he was like, your electric box, that's not right. Something's going to happen. Your house is going to go up in smoke. And he was like, okay. I feel like...
Coincidence?
But I feel like if you just said no to anyone in olden days, you died. No, I don't want life insurance. Dead. No, I don't want my electrics fixing.
You're dead.
So anyway, he had the electric company actually come out very recently and said that everything was fine.
Right.
So when the police were involved now, they're saying it's an electrical fire and that's what's done it. Even though there were lights on, even when the house was going up in smoke and stuff. And when they did a further investigation later, they saw that the wires had been cut. So because the wire's been cut, it's not an electrical fire. And then she remembered hearing the thing falling down the roof. So when they went back, they kept going back in search for the children
The
in
parents?
the rubble. Yeah. But the oldest daughter found what looked like a pineapple bomb, like a grenade sort of thing. Yeah. So when all is said and done, this is going on now for a few months. No one knows anything.
Right, no kids to be seen.
No. A woman in a cafe saw that because the family had put a big
Pictures up.
billboard up and put it in the press and everything, quite well off, they could afford to do so. And a woman in a cafe said, which is 50 miles away, said, I saw all of these children with 2 women and 2 men who were very Italian in appearance and spoke very Italian.
Right.
And the children were okay, but they were so reprimanded for looking or speaking to anyone else, they just didn't. And she was like, I thought it was just because I was serving them and they were, just a bit backwards as a family, if you like. So she thought, oh, that's it. But it did strike her as odd. Then they went and stayed in a hotel somewhere, and the man said, yeah, it was them kids. And again, I weren't allowed to speak to him. So this is what I mean.
Right.
So this has now gone on forever. All the leads run dry. The mom, God bless her, right? This is, honestly. So the police and everyone are saying they perished, the rubble, the cremated.
Yeah.
So she did her own research, and even in those days realised, I was told, it's a 2,000 degree that cremates a body to ash.
Right,
It's
including
got to
bone.
be 2,000. Yes, it's got to be 2,000
Right.
degrees minimum. Their house reached 1,200 degrees tops, and
Right.
it burnt in 45 minutes. Burnt down to the ground. American houses are very woody though.
Yeah,
aren't
all wood, yeah.
they? Yeah. So that's that. But there were no evidence of any bones or anything, just ash. So she was
Right.
like, that's not real. So then she got meats from the butchers and bones,
Tested
and
it.
she tested herself and did her experiments and always came up with the bones regardless of how hot she did it.
Them kids were in that bloody house.
No, they weren't. So one of the theories is that the dad was involved with the mafia, turned his back
I've
on the
heard
mafia and
this.
said no to the
Yeah.
mafia. And they said, well, you're going to have to do it or your family's in jeopardy. And he didn't believe it. He was very straight down the middle. So they reckon the phone call was to check that the mom and everyone were in bed off that woman chinking the glass. And then she's gone up to bed, thought, oh, everyone's in bed or whatever. They've then gone into the house, said to the kids the house is on fire because they've thrown a thingy. Come with
like
us,
evacuate,
we'll save you, basically.
Right.
And then kidnap the kids. Now, 20 years later, she never stopped looking for these kids, always wearing black. 20 years later, she gets a letter through the post from
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
No return address. In the letter, it's just a sentence that says, basically, this is your son. And he's an adult man, very handsome to boot.
Right.
Right? Similarities, eyebrows the same, the nose is the same shape. He looks like his kid
Why
self.
didn't he come to see her?
But older. Well, it weren't him, I don't think, that sent the picture. I think someone's got wind.
This is just kid.
Yeah, but then my question is, at those ages, I can't be brainwashed into thinking that I didn't have a family before at 14, 12 or 9.
What the hell?
I understand the 5 and maybe the 8-year-old. No, I don't actually. The 5-year-old, yeah. So this has all gone on forever anyway. They offered a £5,000 reward. It turned into a £10,000 reward. People were sending in leads that they'd seen them that never went anywhere. The dad, God bless him, went the breadth of America, chasing down all these leads.
Man.
Never got anywhere. Thinks that the fire, the police department are all lying. And then a year before he died, he said, I just want some answers before I die, because I don't think I'm long for this world. Never got one. And then the mum died in 1989 and she never got any answers either.
And didn't the other kids had heard nothing, seen nothing, couldn't help?
No. So what they're saying is Betty, the youngest, she was 2 at the time, who survived. She now lives in Manhattan. I think she's obviously
Still
a lot
about
older.
it?
Yeah, but she regularly goes onto forums about it with people that are still interested, and she interacts with them and stuff, and she's hoping that any leads will come up. But
That is so strange.
I know, because if you're a family of 5, you know your brothers and sisters are. At 14, you're not going to forget that you had a family before.
No, you're not.
But then why not when they're older? I don't know.
Come back and find them. I mean, kids are very adaptable.
Yeah.
And maybe, so what I'm thinking is, if the dad were in the mafia for a time or whatever, or something to do with him,
Yeah.
I'm basing this purely on
Films.
films. Goodfellas, Godfather.
Yeah.
They're very tight-knit communities in the mafia. So when
Yeah.
you're in it, you're protected at you
Course,
somewhat. You all know
yeah.
each other. You're a community of people.
Yeah.
Maybe the kids knew the people that came
That's what
to
I
get
mean.
him.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
And
that's
felt
Uncle
alright
John,
going
Uncle
with them.
Tony.
Yeah, so they were like, come with us.
Yeah.
And then they've swept him out of there. But why not take all the kids? I don't get it. There's loads of stuff that...
100%. And I also
10 kids is
think,
a lot to have in tow here. That's
Yeah,
going to
it
draw
is.
a lot of attention. So maybe that's why.
But I also think as well, what's the end game? Because,
Yeah.
okay, I get it, you've taken the kids, but then what?
You're just going to
You're
look
not
after
gonna
5
look
kids
after
as a
5
punishment.
Exactly. So, have they met their end, the kids? Because
But then why didn't they... If that is a punishment,
Yeah.
although I would... Do you know what? I was thinking...
What's more of a punishment
how much
than
worse is it
endlessly-
for her to be constantly searching? And for getting little clues as well, to be like, they're in Pennsylvania. No,
and
they're
they've
not.
really
They're in
spaced
New
it
York.
out. They've
Yeah.
really spaced these clues out. But then the plot also
did he
thickens
do,
through
the
this
beggar?
as well.
Right.
So the policeman said, look, we did find a heart at the scene. So it's just like, I beg your pardon, what are you
Right,
talking
a
about?
heart.
Yeah, so this is quite fresh after it happened. So the investigator, she hired a private investigator. He went, take me to where it was. So he did, and he dug up the box. He put it in the box and buried it at the
Right.
site. For why did he do that? And he said he was hoping that the woman would find it, the mom, even though I'll
So the
tell you what it
policeman
was.
buried a heart
Yeah, it weren't a heart. It wanted her to think it was.
to give her some peace.
To give her some peace, so she go, oh, they have died, okay, let's move on. Because he couldn't be asked to do his job anymore. He was getting called to it and stuff.
Or he must have felt really sorry for her and thought, we ain't going to give her an answer, so I just want
Okay,
to give her...
well, don't be a policeman then, because you
Yeah.
need to be tough. You can't be burying evidence because you feel sorry for her. You can't do that.
So he didn't find any heart. Did he plant a heart?
No, so they took it off for testing, and it was, I think, a sheep's liver or
animal.
something. Yeah, a liver, not a heart. So the private investigator also went out to dig up. This is a different one, to dig up about this photo. And he went to Pennsylvania of the son that got sent.
Oh, yeah.
And never came back or said out again.
Oh,
never,
what, he just disappeared out somewhere?
completely.
What?
Never got back in touch again.
The hell?
I know. Not like a payment up front job either.
So the guy used to be in the mafia.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
The mafia, like they buy the police, don't they, as well?
Yeah.
It was a Sicilian mafia as well, yeah.
The
So,
worst of the bunch.
He's done something.
Not
No
really, I'm
disrespect.
joking. No disrespect. Allegedly.
So he's
Sorry,
done
Simon.
something wrong. He's disrespected them.
Yeah.
They've got him back in the worst way.
Nicked his kids.
And everywhere they look, they've got people to shut them down.
Definitely.
But how?
So that poor woman, this is, my heart goes out to her. The dad as well, of course. But that poor woman
As a
lived
mom.
all of her life not knowing what happened to 5 of her children. 5.
And the guy worked the summer. I have heard about this before. Isn't there something with the kid who was away? There's something
No,
about
I've
him, you
not-
know.
Really?
Yeah, there is. I've read something about him knowing something or doing something. He had something else. There was something else going on with a kid that worked at the house.
Really?
What?
I know that I'm not very big.
We're on tenterhooks
I know, I'm
here.
being
No, I get
so
what you mean, though.
big.
Right.
But
So let me
they
just...
they had an older son who were away
In
at the
the
time
army,
in the
yeah.
army or something. He's got a link back into it though, because he
Has
said he
he?
were away at the time.
I never
but-
saw any of that. Yeah.
because I actually listened to like a true crime podcast. Can't remember which one it was, and they covered this.
Right.
And this is one of the theories that he
Okay.
had something to do with it.
Well, I hope he didn't, because what a fucking rotten thing to do to your mum.
Yeah.
If I could just read you this little extract
Please.
of this thing that I read, because it's so sad.
Oh right.
Oh, good.
I'll have a drink as you say it, Damon.
Jenny erected a fence around her property and began adding rooms to her home, building layer after layer between her and the outside. Since the fire happened, she wore black exclusively as a sign of mourning and continued to do so until her dying day in 1989.
Can I just go somewhere a minute? Bear with me, right? So you know, like psychologists, I was reading something recently, and can't remember. It were what were it? Might have been that Cases That Haunt Us.
Yeah.
And they were analysing someone's speech in a missing persons case, and they kept mixing up the tenses.
Right.
So they were saying, "Oh, so-and-so, he was a lovely man, and oh, I hope
Yeah.
that he is okay." They were mixing up the tenses constantly.
Yeah.
And he said, that's like the body language thing.
Yeah.
Where the truth wants to come out, but you're suppressing it.
Yeah.
Like, to me, maybe it's just because it were a different time. Why would she wear black straight away? Like, do you know what I mean? That's like saying they're dead. So
Yeah.
she's saying, my kids are dead and wearing black, but I'm still looking for him. Do you know what I mean? Those two things
I
are
do get what you
conflicting a little
mean.
bit
Yeah.
to me.
I get it.
Bloody hell, Simon, all right. Why?
Well, you can be really sad and wear black as a sign of mourning because
Yeah.
you lost your kids.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can say that she knows they're dead. That's a big jump.
Well, okay. No, but I don't mean it that explicitly. I'm just saying, to me, there's a conflict there in she's still looking for her kids and she don't believe they're dead, but she's worn black her whole life since the day it happened.
Yeah, it's like it's saying...
That's a big
I
gesture.
get both points.
Do you know what I
but
mean?
What if black didn't suit her?
Black-
She's...
Didn't say what. What's she's putting herself. That's
Bless her.
yeah. I mean, that's a really horrendous thing to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
But I want to know. I want to try and theorise what could have happened. I think
I think
it's
they
got to be the
kidnapped.
mafia.
Yeah, 100% they got kidnapped. There's got to be more than 1 or 2 people involved because of the sheer number of
And
people
maybe,
it would
do you know what
take to
they maybe
kidnap 5 kids.
Maybe, do you know what they might have done with them? You know, like Madeleine McCann. And they've trafficked them all.
I know. Well,
They
that
might have
was...
split them all up, sold them
That's what
into
I mean.
different families.
Who
And
knows?
they're not going to know. Because do you know what I do think, even at 14, I think you probably can be indoctrinated into thinking, or maybe not to forgetting it, but just to accept
To be told
your
you've
new
lived
life.
for 14 years with the wrong family,
Forget it.
we're actually your real family.
Yeah, type of thing. And they've just sent them all off. What?
I hope you're all enjoying this.
I'm going to have to get some cheerier tales, but that really...
It's interesting though. It's
because
got my
it
mind
gripped
whirring,
me.
James.
When I was reading it, gripped. shed a tear or two. It was, I just thought,
And that is a really, I've heard of it before, it's a really famous case, isn't it, that?
I lost 20 quid in a bar and I was devastated for 4 days. Devastated.
Imagine losing 5 kids.
No.
Oh no, I was thinking that.
No.
But what were I going to say? To me, how could you... I mean, maybe I'm...
How could you go on?
Maybe I haven't lived in the 40s post-war world, you know,
Really?
Wall Street crash type thing. So what I'm saying is, I can't imagine being a police officer or someone in that position and being able to be involved in that and not say anything ever.
Yeah.
But it's a very different time now. There ain't much that could persuade me to do something bad for an amount of money that I know is wrong.
I do
But back
definitely
then, it was
believe...
a different time.
I do believe he buried that organ to like you say, make her feel
Give
at
her
peace.
some
And that's
peace.
what he said he did it for. I don't think he were involved in it. I just don't. I think he did it to give her a bit of peace.
But some people in the police must have been involved in it at a high level to just not investigate it enough and say to the fire brigade.
Fire ambulance.
The fire ambulance.
Hello, fire ambulance. This is what we've
Sorry,
done.
I've had 2 drinks now. To say to the fire brigade, just wait on 8 hours, please.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Just wait 8 hours.
Yeah,
There's something in there.
definitely. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting tale to bring to the table.
Big time. Well, let's hope the woman that's still alive, the daughter, gets some closure on it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Suspect
Last one
she
remaining.
won't. Is she the last one?
Yeah.
Bloody poor cow. But what a tale she's got to tell.
To who? All the brothers and sisters are gone. Oh, Betty.
Oh, God bless. Hope she finds them.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, James.
Thanks.
James, I don't think we could have picked 2 more disparate topics this week.
Okay.
You've gone quite heavy true crime.
Yeah.
I'm going cryptozoology. Bigfoot, bitch!
Good.
Because this got quite a high vote, and I love this. Mm-hmm. You are not really interested in this, are you?
No, but you and Simon are so passionate about it. I'm
I
floored.
love a mythical
so
creature.
I'm sure I'm going to learn 1 or 2
love all
things.
that.
Yeah.
Love all that.
I do.
Good.
So let me tell you, cryptozoology is basically the study of mythical creatures, or creatures that we haven't yet discovered.
Yeah,
Because
it
they might
sounds
not
like
be real.
a 90s mosh band. I love it.
Cryptozoology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great band name.
Yeah, it is. So we're starting with Bigfoot. I want to do a few of these. We'll start with Bigfoot.
Right, fine.
So Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch,
AKA
Yeti.
someone I've gone out with.
Mountain Man. What?
Someone I've gone out with. Yeah, go on.
What else? What other names of Bigfoot? What I'm trying to say is,
Yeah, I've heard Yeti and
Sasquatch.
Bigfoot. Sasquatch, I've heard that.
and then there's another one. What's the snow one? There's a snow.
Oh, abominable.
Abominable
I can't ever say
snowman.
that. How do you say it?
Abominable snowman.
Abominable. Abominable.
This isn't the
Okay.
him.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is, this isn't a thing that's confined to
A specific.
a specific area in North America. They've been reported in Nepal,
Yeah.
China, Canada, all over the bloody shop.
England?
Russia.
Not in England.
Really? No.
Not in England. They're in Russia, Siberia, I'm guessing, that type of place.
Right, okay.
That's all part of Asia as well, though, isn't it? So, let's get into it.
Let's.
The first, in popular culture, the first sighting of a Bigfoot was in 1958 in California. So there were some loggers basically working in this forest, and they did say it was classified as outright wilderness. No one had been there.
Right, so untouched completely.
Untouched,
Yeah.
fucking massive.
What were their
North
business
America.
being there? Just cutting
They were
logs?
they were making a road. I think they
Okay.
were putting a road through it. I like
Alright.
they do in America.
Yeah.
Ruin stuff. So
No offence,
no
America.
offence, alleged. So this one guy basically were out there, got there early one morning, and he saw ginormous footprints. So they were like 18 inches long. Hence
Right.
the name Bigfoot. In the mud.
Yeah.
He shit himself.
Well, you would, wouldn't
And
you?
he said, "What's this?" And no one knew, like, and obviously no one owned up to it. But then a few
No
of the
one
guys,
owned up to it. Bigfoot pops his head out tree and goes, sorry about
sorry,
that.
guys,
I know you're
just
busy. I'm really sorry. I'll clean it.
sorry, So basically, he thought it were a prank. But no one said,
Yeah,
me. And then a few people sort of came forward and said, well, actually, we have felt like there's a large hairy presence watching us from the woods as we're working, obviously.
a large hairy presence. Hello, sorry about that again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is, yeah. Which one?
Sounds like someone you go for.
It does, actually. Do you know what? I am quite attracted. Carry on.
So, people kind of assumed it were a prank on site.
Yeah.
But it got into the local newspaper and stuff, and obviously they got hold of it, kicked off, captured people's imagination.
Yeah.
Because it's not just discovered there. In Canada, they've got a long history, tradition of... Because in Canada, a massive, vast wilderness of space that no one goes to. Gorgeous. Yeah. So they've got a long tradition of the Inuits and stuff saying, we've seen abominable snowman type giant men knocking about. But this is the first time that someone in recent times in America have said, we've got evidence one. Yeah. So they took plaster casts of it and stuff. And people then started getting interested, coming out to the site, going out to that forest, having a look, setting some cameras up, going exploring, seeing if they can find a Bigfoot family.
Yeah, well, I have seen videos on YouTube and stuff, and some of them ridiculous, come on. But some of them, I do think, that's a bit weird.
Well, the most famous one was done in, I think it was 1967.
Right.
So it were two blokes, and I'll just say, because I don't want to get sued, I really like this book. It's called The Book of Unexplained Mysteries, and this is where I'm getting a lot of my material for this evening.
Yeah.
A couple of other sources, but this is the main one.
Yeah.
So the two blokes were called Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. So they went out into the territory with a camera, video, and basically waited it out around this area where people had said it's been spotted.
Yeah.
Because of course, as soon as this one guy said he's seen a footprint, over the next few years and months, people were saying, oh, I forgot to mention, I also saw a fucking 10-foot family knocking about in the forest. So there'd been a few other claims.
When you say family, we're talking 2.4 kids, job lot, school bags
mom and dad,
off.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. You know what I mean?
Like an American nuclear family covered in hair. Right. So these two blokes went out.
I'm really intrigued to meet them. I really am.
So they obviously managed to capture one on film. So they said afterwards they were only about 120 feet, which sounds like quite a long way. But on the film, it's a close distance. So this is, if you've seen that famous footage of, it's a massive, big, gorilla type walking across a clearing, over a log, with a very confident gait.
Yeah.
Swinging her arms around and not have a care in the world.
He thinks he's got the world to himself, doesn't he? He's not aware that he's on film.
He's getting voyeurism done. He don't even know it, bless him.
It's on his way to...
But actually, it were a woman. Because they described it as having... Let me just tell you this. Its head was very human, though considerably more slanted. It had a large forehead and wide, broad nostrils. Its arms hung almost to its knees when it walked. Its hair was 2 to 4 inches long. I mean, how are they telling that from 120 feet away? Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Covered the entire body except for the face, around the nose, mouth and cheeks. And it was a female as it had large pendulous breasts. So of course 2 blokes noticed that.
Yeah, of course.
And they were swinging around by the sounds of it. So they captured this on film, but over the years their accounts of it have changed a little bit.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
So at first they said, it was 6 foot. 2 years later they were saying, it was 12 foot. And they kind of exaggerated it over time.
Yeah.
So again, it all adds to the legend. So
what if there's some really hairy woman sat at home going, I'm fuming. I am fuming. That were me. Or having a naked day strolling about.
Do you think she's on her way to the shop to get like a lady shave?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or maybe she's just embracing that she's that kind of gal.
Penis.
So the interesting thing is, so they're obviously no one has ever found a corpse of a Bigfoot. No one has ever found a bone or a piece of a body part.
What's to say that their ritual when they die is not to bury him 100 feet underground?
Or eat each other.
And the bones as well.
Well, you don't
Sounds
know,
like
do
a
you,
diet I
maybe?
could get on board with, probs. Well, that's what I mean.
They've never been found on camera traps either, which is weird because there's
No.
loads of them about.
But these two blokes in the 60s went out with one shitty camera one time and saw it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
apparently there was later on when people started to question the footage, someone did say, oh, hang on, yeah, two guys did come into my costume shop and buy a gorilla outfit on that day. So this, but when you watch it, just Google it, that it's really...
So it's 1958 sighting.
So the first sight in 1958 was by like the lumberjack, but then the footage is from 1967, so nearly 10 years after.
Because that one looks like a man in a suit.
I think it looks better than that.
No, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a convincing video to date yourselves? Have you ever seen out that you've thought, hang about, that could be a Bigfoot?
No, but don't you think it's weird that there's names for it in every culture?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
there's a
Far-reaching cultures.
Yeah.
and it's on every continent as well.
But then is that like the urban legend thing that we discussed in a previous episode?
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
What you mean, like different cultures
Like
having?
banshees, everyone's got a banshee.
Yeah,
kind
like
of thing,
as a
haven't
folk tale
Yeah,
warning
yeah,
to
absolutely.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we are all
they?
just
I'd be
people,
scared
aren't we? We're
if I were a kid and they went, don't go in that woods, there's an 8-foot Bigfoot that will eat
going to
you.
come and eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
true.
There's a prehistoric giant ape that definitely used to live because they found remains.
Right.
It were called Gigantopithecus, and it were 10 foot tall, and it died out 300,000 years ago.
Oh,
Fucking
did
hell.
It
How
definitely
did
did
it,
used
yeah.
to exist, something like that.
Wow,
Well-
that's crazy though, isn't it?
When we were in Cornwall, have I mentioned we've been to Cornwall?
You did in a previous episode last week.
We went to a museum, didn't we? And they had a bit about cryptozoology, and they found in the 70s this. I mean, it's not as interesting because it's a fish, but a massive fish
Yeah, that is interesting to me.
that they thought were extinct. It's not on the fossil record after a certain point, like 700,000 years ago.
No, millions of years ago.
We're at millions of years,
Yeah.
so it wasn't found on the fossil record.
Don't
so
tell me it's still kicking about.
It's still
Shut
kicking
up.
about,
No
and it's
way.
massive. It's like as big as you,
Oh.
and it were in formaldehyde
Thanks
in
very
a
much.
tank.
I've been on a diet, but thank you.
I mean, in height. So they were saying it's not unheard of for us to think something is extinct.
Yeah.
The oceans, the forests,
Oceans
especially
are
North
scary
America.
place.
Oceans is fucking scary. But the forests in North America and Canada
So
are
untouched.
vast.
Yeah.
So potentially, I mean, where was Gigantopithecus knocking about? Where were he based?
Where were he based?
I've said that again. I said that earlier. Right, yeah, no, 66 million years ago, that fish.
Just for reference, Simon's showing us the
a
fish.
picture of a
and it's-
fish. So that's now.
Ginormous.
So okay, we
Can
get
you
the
read
point.
it?
I'm not reading that out, love.
The name.
Coelacanths. There.
Cold canthies. Cold canthies. Sounds like a tin of beans I don't want to eat.
So what we're saying is, it's possible
Yeah.
now.
We're discovering new species in ocean every single day,
All
even
the time.
flies and insects.
It's fast, yeah, all the time. So there was a really good documentary a few years ago. This guy who did, he's a vet, he's a TV presenter. He's called Mark Evans. And
Yeah.
he did a program called The Bigfoot Files,
Okay, yeah.
where he went on. And now he's not a quack. He's a genuine doctor.
Yeah.
He did loads of what do they call it? Like, I can't remember what the program was called, but basically he did giant animal autopsies, which sounds horrendous,
God.
but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So he did it on like whales and giraffes and stuff, and he investigated Bigfoot. So he went all over the world, and he said, I haven't seen any proof other than pictures
Yeah.
and footage which can be faked.
Of course it can. Anything can be doctored that's
Anything can be doctored.
on a media
There's-
forum.
Exactly. There's no bones. There's no hard evidence
Yeah.
like that. It's all circumstantial.
Yeah.
But they did find in a bloody a temple in like Nepal. There was a taxidermy Bigfoot type of creature that they had there that was a real animal at some point. God. And he said, I don't recognise this as like a vet. I don't recognise this as anything that's alive now or anything that's, you know, that I've seen before relating to Bigfoot. So they took a hair sample from it, and actually he found a couple of other weird guys in America who had hair samples that they said were from Bigfoot, where like Baloo on Jungle Book was scratch the back on trees and get rid of a load of hair. So it were like 2 hunters in America who've been out and about, and they've got samples of hair from a tree.
Okay, fine.
So he took it to a DNA lab in England and got it tested. That no one had ever done that before. So they've only got the videos and a bit of fur, but no one's ever tested any of the DNA from the fur. And he had it tested, and they came back and said, the doctor said, he can't identify it as an animal.
Crazy.
But it's something. How do I explain this? Because I've had 2 drinks. So he said it is a proper creature. It's not like, you know, people sew together like a pig and a cow and say, it's a mythical creature. It's not. It's all from the same animal, and this is from the hair from the temple. And he said, the closest thing I can tell you it's like a hybrid of a polar bear and a brown bear, which ain't a thing now, doesn't exist now.
Yeah.
But at some point, this animal's been knocking about, and he said it must have been huge.
Yeah.
And that's what they've got in the museum. He said, so he don't know if this is a thing that's not been on the fossil record, because their specimen, obviously 66 million years old, these monks have got in the temple.
Yeah.
It's only 100 years old. He said, so actually, that is interesting evidence that maybe not Bigfoot, Gigantopithecus, but a new species of bear that no one's ever seen.
Which is equally as interesting to me.
Equally as interesting, amazing. Yeah.
A lot of people think the bears, don't they? You know, they walk upright.
Well, the hair that the hunters had found on the trees that had been scratched off was from bears.
Oh.
It was from like grizzly bears in America.
I would have guessed that, yeah.
So that adds up. But then this other thing, who knows?
Yeah, listen, maybe. I hope in my lifetime we find out.
I do. I hope I'm never walking in a wood and go knocking into something that's a cross between a polar bear and a brown bear.
I keep imagining one day we're going to wake up and on Daily Mail website there's going to be Bigfoot. Doing an exclusive.
Bugger. I hope we do.
Sat in your hot tub in your garden.
It'll be in Big Brother episode fucking 27, season 26. I hope we do. Let them live in peace if they're about. I'd feel sad if they get
they clearly don't want to know us.
That's a nice thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you
they
seen
clearly
King
don't
Kong?
want to know us.
No, don't let that happen. Don't. We'll be happy knocking about out there in the woods. So, yeah, that's Bigfoot. Not inconclusive. Can you tell we've done these in one night and I've had a couple of drinks?
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting, definitely.
So, what do you think about cryptozoology now, James?
Look, each to their own, I say. Present me with some evidence and some facts. I'm into it. I'll watch anything on YouTube.
I think you should look at these Bigfoot videos.
I might do, actually.
They're scary.
Sometimes, like if
the way they walk.
If I'm in like a loophole of paranormal, I'll watch my ghost, my poltergeist. Sometimes the UFO, switch off them at times, and then when the Bigfoot ones come on, because they just do, don't they? The algorithms and it says, "Oh, you might like this, you might like that." I always switch them off because I think that ain't real. But now I might give it a shot.
Well, okay, but you more believe in a ghost than in a true possible animal.
Yeah, there's one stood behind you right now.
Don't even say that. I don't even turn around.
Yeah, definitely.
James, I feel like we're finishing it. We're ending it here. But I feel like we're setting up ourselves. What we're going to talk about next? Who knows?
The world's his oyster, though. But do you know what I love about it? Is that I'll just be sat there and I won't be thinking out, and then I'll see an article or something will pop up and I'll think, well, that's interesting. I'll read it and I'll go, podcast.
Yes.
I'm talking about this 100%.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Do you know what I'd like to do? And we'll see what people think. I want to talk about films. I want to do like a film episode.
Right, yeah. So what sort of category or...
Don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Scary ones. Simon don't like scary films.
I can't believe that about you, Simon.
No, he said,
I don't mind you talking about them. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
We'll do a film episode.
Yeah.
Let's think on that.
Yeah,
We'll see what people think.
Yeah.
But for now, we're done.
We are done. So thanks for being with us again, guys. Really
you.
appreciate the support. Please follow us on our social media, which is Drinks in the Kitchen on Facebook, at Drinks in the Kitchen on Instagram, and email any suggestions or questions to us at drinksinthekitchen@gmail.com.
Yes, please.
And like and subscribe.
Like and bloody subscribe.
And share it, 'cause it's all free.
Share it. It's free.
You get me and Eleanor for free, which is amazing. So please share it to anybody, please. Really
please.
appreciate the support.
Yes. And join us next time for episode number
9. Amazing. And
Perfect.
then 10 when we have a party. We'll
Party
yeah.
bitch. Thanks very
Awesome.
much.
All right,
Cheers.
bye.
Bye. Bye.